Hey friends, Sleepy here, and welcome to a new collection video. Today we're going to take an updated look at my Nintendo Switch collection. I shared my Switch collection last year, but I've added several titles since I made that video, so I wanted to release an updated look here at my Nintendo Switch collection. Now, I'm a huge fan of the Nintendo Switch. I've had one since 2019. I got one for my birthday. I got it for a really good deal at my local game store because I got money from my birthday and Christmas and some money from gifts and stuff from friends and family, and I used that to buy a Nintendo Switch, and I've been a huge fan ever since I've owned the console, as I love that it is a hybrid console. I love the fact that I can take it with me on the go portably, but then I can come home and plug it into a dock and play it on my big TVs. Now, I do have two Nintendo Switch consoles I own. I have my original one that I bought in 2019, and then last year I bought my good buddy Todd's OLED Nintendo Switch, and I've just had an absolute blast playing this console, and my library has really grown over the years. From having regular games, I have some special ones, and I even have some collector's editions that I got for the Nintendo Switch. So we'll start off. Here's my first original Nintendo Switch model, which I do have a nice little protective case on it and little protective case coverings on the Joy-Cons. So this is the original release of the Nintendo Switch, as there's been a couple different versions of the Nintendo Switch. There was this version, and then there was one that has a little bit better battery life, and then they eventually released the Switch OLED model, which I have here, which comes with white Joy-Cons, a little bit bigger screen, a little bit brighter, and it's really awesome. Much better than the original Nintendo Switch, but they also released the Nintendo Switch Minis, and then of course there are some special themed Nintendo Switch consoles, like a Animal Crossing one, Zelda one, stuff like that. But I'm just really happy to have the Nintendo Switch in my collection, and I do love having both versions, and I do play on both of them. Really good console, absolutely love these. So now let's move on to the games that I have in my collection. Now, I would love to know if you guys have a collection video up. I would love to check it out. So if you guys do have a collection video of your Nintendo Switch collection, let me know about it so I can check it out. And if you guys have any recommendations today of games you think I should add to my Nintendo Switch collection, let me know. I'm always looking for new games to play and experience. And some of these games I added were thanks to your guys' suggestions. So the first up we have is Animal Crossing New Horizons. It's a really good game. Now, this came out in 2020. Right before COVID hit, and I was glad I was able to get it. GameStop was open literally like the day after they closed down, and I was able to get Animal Crossing New Horizons. And I played this a lot in 2020, as I was not feeling well from being sick with COVID, and just mentally I just was not into playing other games and violent games and stuff. So I enjoyed just coming home after work and relaxing, days off and stuff, and playing Animal Crossing. Really fun. This is one of my favorite Animal Crossings in all the Animal Crossing games. Highly recommend this one. They added all kinds of content to it for free. I think there was maybe one paid DLC for it, but overall, really good game in the Animal Crossing series that I highly recommend. Next up, we have Cat Quest, which this is an awesome game where you get to play as a cat, and it plays kind of like The Legend of Zelda, but it's an isometric little action RPG. Really good game. I'm pretty far in this, but I have not beat it. They did release a sequel for it called Cat Quest 2, and it also came bundled with the original Cat Quest, so it's Cat Quest plus Cat Quest 2 Possum Pack. Really cool. It has both games. Now, what's really awesome is they are working on a Cat Quest 3 that should be coming out next year, and I'll definitely be looking forward to getting that. Really awesome RPG. Highly recommend this one. Next up, we have the Collection of Mana, which this has The Legend of Mana tree has been passed down through generations. The first 3 titles in the seminal Mana series, all in one experience. These memorable adventures on Nintendo Switch. So you have Final Fantasy Adventure, Secret of Mana, and Trials of Mana. So they have 3 Mana games in the collection. Really cool. I've played this a little bit. Really awesome games, especially because these 3 games, if you were to buy on the actual consoles that they were released on, they're very expensive, but you can get it for a pretty good deal for the Nintendo Switch version, so really cool. Next up, we have Contra Rogue Core Locked and Loaded Edition, which I love. Contra games, and this one was pretty cool. A friend recommended it. I picked it up, played a little bit, and really enjoyed it. I do need to go back, play through, and beat this game. Really awesome. You can play up to 4 players on that, so that's awesome. Next up, we have a game called Crosscode, which I have not played before, but this was one that was recommended to me by one of the friends of my channel, one of the subscribers. He said it was a really cool game and recommended I pick up, so I grabbed it. I have not played it yet, but it is on my list to play, so that was cool. Next up, we have Darksiders, the War Mastered Edition, and this is the misprint version where they made it all black. It was supposed to have a red spine. I love Darksiders. I've got it on the Xbox 360, I've got it on Xbox One, and I also have it on Nintendo Switch because I want to be able to play this portably. Amazing game. Highly recommend this on any console. It's great. Next up, this is a new one that I just got this month. It is a game called Demon Throttle. It's really cool. It's got an isometric little like shooter, but it's got old school graphics, so it plays like an old 8-bit game. Played a little bit of it. It is really fun. Another one I would recommend, and it's pretty cheap too. Really fun. Next up, we have Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Has a new funky mode. I love this game. I first played this on the Wii U, but it's even better on the Nintendo Switch. It has a little bit updated graphics and control, and it's a really good game. I love that they were able to port a bunch of the Wii U games to the Nintendo Switch so that they could bring games that other people might not ever get a chance to play because the Wii U didn't sell well. So it was good that they're bringing games to the Switch so that more people can play and experience them. I love Donkey Kong Country. This is the 5th game in this series. Highly recommend playing this if you have not played it before. It's a good game. It is brutally difficult though. That's why they added this funky mode where you can play as Funky Kong, where he doesn't die and can help you get through really difficult parts. Of course, I like to actually play the game and beat him, so I don't use that mode, but it is nice to have it there for newer players. Love this game. Highly recommend it. It's great. Next up, we have Garfield Kart Furious Racing. So this is like a Mario Kart game but with Garfield. Now, it's not the best game in the world. I have this one sealed because I have one for the Xbox One that's open, but this is just a little collector piece because I am a big fan of Garfield and I wanted to help support the devs who made it. So I got this, and it was only, I think, $30 brand new. I got pre-ordered this at GameStop, as this had a pretty small print run, so really glad to have that in the collection. Next up here, we have Ghostbusters, the video game remaster. Now, this was originally only a GameStop exclusive, but eventually Target and Walmart and stuff got copies later on. Now, I pre-ordered this for the Xbox One, the PlayStation 4, and Nintendo Switch because I loved this Ghostbusters video game when it was originally released for Xbox 360. I actually own all versions of it that were for the original release and this new release. I was the only person who pre-ordered all 3 copies. It was $30 each. I wanted to help support the devs because this game is amazing. It is basically the 3rd Ghostbusters movie that we never got, and I absolutely loved it, and I beat it multiple times on Xbox 360 and the Xbox One. I've been working on playing on the PS2, and I also want to beat it on PSP and the Nintendo DS. Now, this is another one I bought simply to help support the devs, and it is staying sealed for the Nintendo Switch, as I just got this as a collector's piece to share my love for the series. I love the Ghostbusters. It's really fun movies. Cartoons have been fun. Some of the comic books. Yeah, I just really love the universe of Ghostbusters, and I wanted to help support the devs, so happy to have this in my collection. Awesome game. Highly recommend it on any console you can get it on. It's worth playing. Next up, we have a copy here of Hades, which is actually still sealed. You can play this on multiple different consoles. I got this with a gift card that my buddy Todd gave me so I could have it. He's always recommended. It's a really fun game where you got to try to defy the god of the dead as you hack and slash your way through the underworld in a roguelike dungeon crawl as you're trying to get out of hell. He said it was really cool, so that's why I picked it up. So we'll eventually open this and play it. Next up, we have the Badass from Hell helmet. This used to be an exclusive to GameStop, but again, like a lot of GameStop exclusives, usually they keep an exclusive for a certain time, and then eventually other retailers are allowed to sell copies of it. Really cool little 8-bit style graphics, where it's kind of like an isometric action RPG. Played a little bit of it. It's pretty fun, but it is kind of difficult. That was a neat one. Next up we have Jitsu Squad, which this is a really cool side-scroll beat-em-up game. Plays kind of like, your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or X-Men, the beat-em-up type games. You can play it up to 2 players. That does not have any online multiplayer, which is a shame. It would be fun to play it co-op with somebody online, but you can play it couch co-op. It's really fun. I like the story, the characters, the settings. There's all kinds of moves too that you learn as you play through the game. There's just a lot more to this than just simple beat 'em up. Usually these beat 'em up games are pretty much you just punch and kick and do a couple moves. This just has tons of moves and enemies to fight through. Really fun game. Highly recommend this. This was recommended by Reggie and Metal Jesus Rocks. Really happy that I added this. It is kind of as a smaller print run, so it can be kind of hard to find, but I do recommend getting Jitsu Squad. Great game for the Nintendo Switch. Next up we have Kirby Star Allies, and this is the very first game I got for the Nintendo Switch. I actually got it for free. When I bought my Nintendo Switch at my local game store, my buddy let me toss in a game for free, and I picked this one, as I love Kirby games. And this one is really fun. I do need to go back and beat it. Now, I definitely recommend Kirby if you have a spouse or kids or somebody who's interested in video games but they don't have a lot of skill with them. I recommend the Kirby games. They are great games for beginners. They're not very difficult. They're easy to control and play through, and they're not too difficult. So they're a good game to introduce new people into video games. So if you have your wife or husband or somebody, your boyfriend, girlfriend, or your kids, maybe a parent even, somebody that has a little bit of interest in video games and they would like to play something but they're worried, that they don't have the skill for it, I recommend the Kirby games because they're a great way to introduce new players to gaming. And it's a really fun game, has a good story, and Kirby is a really cool character, so definitely recommend Kirby Star Allies. Next up we have Luigi's Mansion 3. I love the Luigi Mansion series. I beat the original one multiple times. I got really close to beating the second one, and I'm about halfway through with Luigi's Mansion 3. I definitely need to revisit this, as I love this series, and I would like to beat this more than once. If you love the Luigi's Mansion series, you gotta get Luigi's Mansion 3 for Nintendo Switch. It is amazing. Next up we have Mario Golf Super Rush. This game is awesome. I love this. I got this on day one. I've loved it ever since. It's got a huge roster of golfers to play through. The only thing that's kind of disappointing is I wish it had more courses than the ones that they have. I think there's like maybe 8 or 9. I would have liked some more, but still it's really cool. And I really do like the story mode in this because you get to play as your own Mii character, so you can actually bring yourself into the game. And as you play with your character, you actually level them up so they get stronger. And then, of course, you can play as your Mario character. But it's really cool that you can play as yourself and fight Bowser or Yoshi, Mario, Luigi. It's just really fun. I love Mario Golf games. I've been playing them ever since the Nintendo 64. And this is by far one of the best ones they've ever made here on the Nintendo Switch. Awesome game. Next up we have Mario Party Superstars. This game is awesome. So this basically combines Mario Parties 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're different boards and stuff and mini games all packed into one. Really good party game. Play with friends and stuff. I've currently got a game playing with my buddy Todd and my brother, and we have it saved. And so the next time all 3 of us are able to get together again, we are going to resume our game and finish playing it. Love the Mario Party series. I've been playing them ever since the Nintendo 64 days. It's a great game, but it can ruin friendships and stuff though, especially when you steal each other's stars. But a really good game in the Mario Party series. Next up we have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, my favorite Mario Kart game. Love this game. They ported this from the Wii U, and for the Nintendo Switch, they actually added this Battle Pass thing that adds 48 new tracks and adds new characters and stuff. And we have one more wave. We just got stuff released within the last few weeks. So you got 8 new tracks and some new characters to play as. And it's awesome that they supported this. So there's the most Mario Kart tracks to pick from is in this game. Awesome graphics playing on the Nintendo Switch. You can play it online. There's the battle mode, and I just love having that DLC they added to it. I'm hoping with how successful the DLC was for this that maybe they'll release a second DLC pack. I think that would be awesome. It just kind of came out of left field. All of a sudden they're like, hey, we're adding new carts and we're adding new tracks to Mario Kart 8. And so I bought it. You can get it if you have their online service, the extra part, but I wanted to buy the DLC so I could actually own it. Love this game. One of my favorite Mario Kart games of all time. It's awesome. Next up we have Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, which is cool. This is a little tactical RPG where you get so many moves on the field to attack different enemies, and it has to do with the Rabbids, which are really funny in this. There's also DLC for this, which I do need to get, which add Donkey Kong to the game. Really fun game. I've got pretty far in it, but I have not beat it. I need to go back and beat this one, and the further along you get in the game, it gets very difficult. So really awesome. I love the game. It's funny, it's hilarious, especially because having the Rabbids, they mix in so well with the Mario universe. And then there are Rabbid versions of Mario, Rabbid Luigi, Rabbid Peach, or Rabbid Donkey Kong. Like, it's just really cool, the different characters that are in this game, and you get to go through a wonderful story. I also own its sequel, which is still sealed. I bought the gold edition of this because it came with the season pass, so I do need to open up so I can get the season pass. And this has a bunch of DLC added to it. Now, when I did pre-order this, I was able to get the cool Steelbook. This was exclusive to GameStop. They only had a couple of these in for the few people who pre-ordered it, so I'm really glad I got it, as it's pretty rare to get this. But this is a sequel to that Mario plus Rabbids, so I love Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope in the gold edition. Can't wait to eventually start playing this one, as I've heard nothing but good things with this one. They said it was even better than the original one, so glad to have this in the collection. And I love having the cool Steelbook for it, which is awesome. I love my Steelbooks, so that was a neat addition. Next up we have Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order. I love the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games. They're awesome isometric action RPGs. It started with the X-Men Legends series, and then eventually it turned into the Marvel Ultimate Alliance series. Sadly, it is only on the Nintendo Switch. I don't know how Nintendo got the exclusive license to this. I think it's great. It plays fine on Nintendo Switch, but I would have loved to have seen it on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, so I don't know why it got exclusive to the Switch, but it did. So if you have a Nintendo Switch and you love the Marvel Ultimate Alliance series, I highly recommend number 3. It does have some DLC you can get for it as well. Awesome game. This is a new one I just got recently this year, and that is Metroid Prime Remastered. So this is a remastered version of the old one for the Nintendo GameCube. Highly recommend the Metroid Prime series. We're hoping that they will remaster the other 2 Metroid Prime games here in the future for the Switch. Awesome game. Now, this did have kind of a small print run, so a lot of people have had difficulties finding this. I got mine copy from GameFly for a good price. Highly recommend this one. If you never played it before and you want to experience it for the first time, I would recommend this remastered version. It's awesome. Next up we have Metro Redux. So this has Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light, the Redux versions of them. Now, I've beat both of these games multiple times on the Xbox 360 and Xbox One. I beat Metro 2033 on the Switch, and I'm about halfway through Metro Last Light on the Switch. Now, of course, the graphics and performance aren't as good as the Xbox version, but I love having it portably. That's what I got it for. I play it portably. I don't play it connected to the TV, as I got this exclusively to play portably, as I love this series. One of my favorite first-person shooters. Love the games. Highly recommend it. And now what's really cool is I got the Metro Redux Rangers Cache. Now, this was an exclusive pre-order bonus for GameStop, but nobody actually pre-ordered a copy at GameStop, and I had forgot about this game coming out, so I actually went there like the day it came out, and I asked the guy, do you still have the pre-order bonus for it? Could I have it? And he's like, I don't know if we got it in. I'll check for you. And he looked, he's like, oh yeah, I have it here. Yeah. He's like, you're the first person to buy it. No one pre-ordered. Here, you can have it. And they only had like 1 or 2 of these. And so this came with a game case sleeve, alternate artwork inlay, 4 art cards, a fold-out poster, and a pin badge set. So just kind of neat to have a little collector's piece for a game series I absolutely love. So I was really happy and got very lucky to get that. You don't see that too often these days. Next up, we got New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. So this is another Switch game that got, or Switch game, geez, a Wii U game that got ported to the Switch, which has Super Mario Bros. U and New Super Mario Bros. Luigi U all combined into one pack. Really fun game. Love these side-scrolling Mario games. If you never played it before, definitely recommend getting it on Nintendo Switch. Next up, we have a game called Overcooked 2, which I love the Overcooked. I played the first one a lot on Nintendo Switch with my brother and my good buddy Andy and my buddy Grant, and we had a lot of fun with it. I do need to get the original one, but I was able to find the second one for a good price. Now, sadly, this is not a game you can easily play with 2 people. You can play with 3, but it's best to play with 4, and you have to play through different arenas, like sometimes you're on a bus or something, and you have to cook orders, and you work together as a team to get a higher score as you move through the story, and it just gets more difficult, and you have a variety of characters and stuff too. I actually have a plush on my wall of, I don't see it, of this raccoon plush here, and he's in a wheelchair. He's my favorite one to play as. Really cool dude. Definitely a good party game to play with friends and family. Highly recommend that one. Next up, we have a copy here of Risen, which was awesome that they ported the old Risen game from Xbox 360 onto the PlayStation 4 and the Nintendo Switch. It was only $30. I bought this as I would like to actually play through it on the Switch and the PS4 because there's multiple endings. There's like 3 or 4 different endings, and so I am currently playing my 360, which it is backwards compatible on Xbox Series X, which is awesome. But I then wanted to play through the story a second time on the Switch to get a different ending, and then play through it a third time on the PS4 version. I wanted to support the devs for releasing an old game that wasn't really loved at the time, but it's got a cult following now. Love having this in my collection. So awesome. Next up, we have a game called Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn. Now, if you guys have played the old Shaq Fu for Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo, it was a pretty terrible fighting game. But this is a side-scrolling beat-em-up game, and it is actually really fun. The comedy is great, really funny. I picked this up just because I actually enjoyed the original Shaq Fu, even though it wasn't that great of a game. It's just kind of neat having Shaquille O'Neal, because he was one of my favorite basketball players. So it's really cool that he has a game. Highly recommend this. It's on multiple consoles, but it is fun and worth playing because it is a side-scrolling beat-em-up game and has a lot of great humor. It's just hilarious. Highly recommend it. Next up, we have a game called Slain Back from Hell, which I got this from GameStop. It is a side-scrolling adventure game. Very freaking brutally difficult, though. I haven't even been able to beat the first stage yet, so I've got to play it. It's like old NES Ninja Gaiden type of difficulty, just absolutely brutal, but it looked really cool and neat. I was just looking for something new to play on the Switch, and I saw that there for a good price at GameStop and added it. Definitely recommend checking out. Just be warned though, it is not easy. It is difficult. Next we have Super Mario 3D All-Stars. I pre-ordered this because this was only got a limited release window, and then they got rid of it. It was just crazy. But it has Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy. 3 great Mario games all in one pack. You can no longer buy this digitally, and they don't sell new copies, even though you can still kind of find it around. But people do try to take advantage of its limited release window. Definitely recommend getting this for Nintendo Switch. It is an awesome collection of 3 great games. And I actually got the Mario Anniversary pins that go with the guy I got thanks to getting this game to help me secure those, which is really cool. Those are up top up there in my shelving, but really awesome collection of games. Highly recommend that one. Next up we have Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. So this is another Wii U game they ported to the Nintendo Switch. I got really far on the Wii U version, and I've also played on the Switch. I'm going to actually beat it on both of them. This one has the new Bowser's Fury mode where you play with Bowser Jr. He needs your help to stop his ferocious father's rampage. So another new game mode to play after I beat the game, but it's really cool. This is where they introduce the cat. So you have Cat Mario there, there's a Cat Peach and the Cat Toad and stuff, Cat Luigi. So really fun game. If you haven't played it before, recommend this one. It's an awesome game. It's kind of a hybrid of a 2D and 3D in one. Really good game. Next up we have Super Mario Maker 2, and this is the one that came with the online service, which is great. It's much better than the original Mario Maker, but for some reason it just kind of died off. Nintendo really didn't keep the interest going in this. But you can make your own Mario levels from Mario Brothers for NES, Mario Brothers 3 for NES, Super Mario World from Super Nintendo, New Super Mario Brothers U for the Wii U and Switch, and then Super Mario 3D World, but it looks like 3D World, but it's still a 2D side-scrolling one. Awesome game. There's just endless amount of levels you can download and play, and you can create your own and upload. I uploaded a couple levels, not many, but it was a really fun game. But you definitely need the online part for Nintendo Switch, or you won't be able to upload levels or download levels without it. So really cool. Next up we have Super Mario Party. So this was the Mario Party they released for the Nintendo Switch. I had rented this and played it. It wasn't that great. It's still sealed, as I got this on Mario Day for a good price at my local game store a couple years ago. Not the best one. I'd recommend that other Mario Party Superstars over this one. It's still worth playing, but it's kind of a bare bones version of Mario Party games, so this one I could not really recommend unless you're a die-hard fan of the series like me and you want to have every Mario Party game ever like I do. Then I would recommend getting it. Otherwise, I would get the other one. Next up we have a game called Titan Quest, which I love. This is an isometric action RPG that was released originally on the PC like 12 years ago. They eventually ported it to the Xbox One, the PlayStation 4, and the Nintendo Switch. Awesome game. Highly recommend this one on any console you can play it on. It's great. You can play 2 players. A lot of good stuff. There is DLC for it, but I don't know if the Switch version has it. And I got it on my Xbox One, but I don't know if the Switch version actually has it. If it does, I would recommend it because it adds even more stuff to the game that they had added to the PC version. Really good game, though. Next up, we have the Ninja Saviors Return of the Warriors. This was another one that was recommended to me. 5 android ninjas programmed with the ancient skills of ninja warriors are sent forth to bring down the tyrant Banglar. The ninjas become raging cyclones, leaping, kicking, and slashing through waves of enemies in dystopian future. They have no human emotions. To weaken them on their mission, destroy all enemies up to 2 players, side-scrolling action. Awesome game. Glad to have this in the collection. And it also came with a little book and a poster and stuff, so it's really cool. You don't see too many little Switch games coming with stuff. Great game that was recommended to me. Played a little bit of this. Love it. Next up we have The Mummy Demastered, which I got this brand new for $30 at Best Buy. This was recommended to me from somebody that is a friend of mine here on YouTube, and he recommended this one, so I went out and grabbed a copy, as this had a kind of small print run. Was really glad to add this to the collection. I will eventually open it and play it. He recommended it, said it's a really fun game. It is another like 16-bit type of side-scrolling adventure title. Looks fun though. Next up we have The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Love this game. I actually have the 3 cups that were released in Canada at 7-Elevens to celebrate the launch of this game. I bought those online, so I have those on display. I loved this game when I originally played it on Game Boy, and I also played it then on the Game Boy Color, the DX version. I beat it on there multiple times. I'm really far on the Nintendo Switch version, but I have not played it in years, so this is another one I need to go back and finish playing, because it's basically a remastered version of the Game Boy one, but it has the style as if the people are created with little clay. So it's really cool. Great graphics. Love this story. One of my favorite Legend of Zelda games. Next up we have a game called Toki. So this is a cool return. If you guys played Toki in the old arcade version, I actually have the retro collector edition that was exclusive to GameStop. I'll share with you guys here in a few minutes, but this is one of the copies I pulled out of the open copy that I bought. Fun game, really hard, but really cool old arcade game. Next up we have the Veteran Edition of Strife. So this is an old PC game that they ported to modern consoles. Now you can only get it physically on the Nintendo Switch. You can get it on Xbox and PlayStation, but they're only digital, so I wanted to get the physical version, and this was recommended by Metal Jesus Rocks. Really awesome game. Love it. I've gotten pretty far in this one. Highly recommend this one as well. If you love old school boomer shooters, as they call them, you'll love this game. It is great. Next up we have Walisha, Reign of Dracula, another one that was recommended to me. It is still sealed. I'll eventually open it up. But this is basically It says it's an action shooter inspired by great classic. The game boasts a unique soundtrack and a story based on the legends of Vlad the Impaler rather than the typical vampire myths. So just looked cool, was recommended to me. Eventually I will look forward to playing this. It does look really fun. Glad to have this in the collection. Next up we have Warhammer 40,000 Shoot Us, Blood and Teeth. This is an awesome 1 to 4 player Warhammer game where you get to play as the orcs. Really cool game. I've actually shared this in one of my weekly gaming playlist videos in the past. I need to go back and beat it. It's really cool getting to go through and kill space marines and fight other orcs and other marines and humans and stuff. Just has a really funny, silly story, and it just really represents the orcs really well. Awesome game. Glad to have this in the collection. It's also on PlayStation 4 as well physically. Xbox is digital only, but it's a great game. Next up I got Wild Guns Reloaded, which I love the old Wild Guns game. So you get 2 new characters in this. You can play up to 4 players. You got new modes including Boss Rush and Time Attack, new bosses, new stages, and special weapons. So basically they re-released the old Wild Guns game and put it on Nintendo Switch and added stuff to it. Great game. I got this at GameStop for a good price. Awesome title. And the last one here of the regular games is Yoshi's Crafted World, which I loved, the Yarn Yoshi, and I had played the demo of this and loved it, so I did buy it. I do need to go through and play this one. This is another game that's not very difficult, so I would recommend this one to newcomers. You could introduce them with Yoshi games. They're really fun games. A lot of fun with this one, and you can play up to 2 players, so that's cool. Now we'll get into some of the special versions I have. Like, I have Sonic Mania Plus. I bought this actually at Family Video before they went out of business. It has the game, but it also came with the cool art book, which I also have this on Xbox One. This has 5 playable characters, and it's all classic. There's some of the classic Sonic the Hedgehog levels from like the Genesis in this. This was a great collection of games. Really happy to have these big box Switch games. There's not a whole lot of these for the Nintendo Switch, so really happy to have that. Next up I got this Super Mario Odyssey bonus Traveler's Guide version. They had the regular version or this version, which came with a Traveler's Guide book, which is cool. It has little tips and tricks for playing the game and stuff. And I love Super Mario Odyssey, one of my favorite 3D Mario adventure games. Highly recommend this bonus Traveler's Guide version if you don't have it yet, because they're the same price as the regular one, but you get an extra book in it. And I got this at my local game store, so that was really neat to add to the collection. And now I'll share with you guys the Toki Retrolector Edition, which is really cool. Is it came with the game, obviously. It came with some stickers, it came with lithographs, it came with a comic book, but also came with a little arcade cabinet you can actually build to put your Switch on, and then it's like you're playing a little arcade, which is cool. Somebody in one of my game groups had said that GameStops in the area were clearancing these out for $5 brand new, and I was able to go to 2 different GameStops. I got one sealed for the collection, and one was actually open. It's a little dusty when I bought it. It was originally $49 there, and they marked it down to only $5. So I was so happy I grabbed it. People went all over the place once they heard it and hit up literally every GameStop in the country and cleaned them all out. So I wanted to get one before they were gone, and I was able to get 2 of them, as I knew I wanted to have one as a collector's piece, and I wanted to have one to play. So very happy to have this in the collection. I've seen a few of these locally at my local game stores, and they want $200 to $300 for a copy of these nowadays, because this was exclusive to GameStop. So I had a very small print run. Really good game. I got a lot of good deals at GameStop. Here's another one I picked up at GameStop. No, this wasn't GameStop. This is my local game store. Never mind. But it's still brand new and sealed. I do like this series. This is a special edition of Fire Emblem Warriors, which is basically Fire Emblem but play like Dynasty Warriors. It's still brand new and sealed. I haven't opened it up yet. I will eventually when I get to it. But this is the collector's edition, pretty big. It comes with the game, it comes with a Fire Emblem Warriors character set, Fire Emblem Warriors poster, and a Fire Emblem Warriors music CD set. It has 3 different CDs. Really cool. I love Dynasty Warriors series, so it's really cool that they made a Fire Warriors version. I was just gonna buy the regular version, but it was just like a few dollars more. They had this collector's edition on sale, so I picked it up. Really awesome game. I can't wait to eventually go through and play it. So there you guys go. That's my Nintendo Switch collection. I've built it up over the years. It is one that I'm actively always looking to add new games to the Switch, as I love it. It's one of my favorite 8th gen consoles. If you guys have a recommendation on a Nintendo Switch game you think I should add to my collection, let me know. I'm always looking for new games to add to it. As you guys saw, I mentioned some of these I added thanks to your guys' recommendations, so keep those coming as I'm looking for new games to add to my Switch collection. If you guys do have a Nintendo Switch collection up on your channel, I would love to check it. Please share the link with me, as I'd love to check it out. Alright guys, I want to thank you for watching. Take care. You guys have an amazing day, and Sleepy will see ya next time.